Welcome back, traders. This is Sandra with Trading Made Simple.
I have a quick question.
Sure. Chris?
Yeah. Yes. Hi.
Hi.
So, Sandra, I was on Sunday, no, over the weekend. I I entered, set up my trade to trigger on Monday opening day,
Right?
and it was for Baba.
Okay.
Baba October 17 call.
Okay.
It's a 140 call, and I did exactly how you instructed at the time. I used the custom.
Okay.
I did a custom order, and I set it to where at the time Baba was at 135.58.
Okay.
And I bought a call, and I set the custom to trigger uh, at or greater than 135.60, right? And then
Okay, so
I
let me try to work that out. You triggered it for 135, and where was this?
135.60.
Okay, and
It
where
was
was?
at 135.50. It was at 135.58
Okay, and so this is after hours, not during
after
hours.
hours.
Yeah.
Yes, it
So
was on over the weekend. Yes.
yeah, it's too small. But what ended up happening?
Well, it never triggered.
Yeah.
It never triggered, and Baba shot up. I think it gapped up
Yeah.
that Monday.
Yeah. Okay. So when you have a gap, this is a great question. Let's take a look at BABA on its chart. Oh, I need to get that. When we take a look at BABA, when price gaps up, like it did here on Monday, if you have a trigger that says, hey, get me in somewhere over here, and it gapped over, your triggers don't work. Price actually has to pierce the trigger.
Ah.
It can't hop. So something to take.
Even if it was even if it was set as a market.
Oh no, if it's a market, what you could have done then is you're not going to put in a price. This is how you would do that. So if we go to the trade tab, let's just pick everything exactly the same. Let's act like right now price is here and you're wanting
Okay.
to do this. What you would do is when you go to the OCO bracket here, you're going to put
Hmm.
this in. Can't do it here. So you're going to go over to
Right. That's what
your
I did.
icon. Yeah, let me make sure that, can you see that screen? Here we go.
I can see it. I'm on my iPhone, but I can see it.
Okay, so here you're going to put market, and you see how there's
Oh,
no
okay.
price whatsoever, right? Did you
I
see how?
see. Yeah.
Okay, so when I do
And
market, and then what I need to do here is just say, hey, get me in tomorrow, as an example, at, if you wanted to wait, 5 or 10 minutes so the volatility could settle down. The reason I say that is because the higher the volatility, the higher you pay for that contract. And you're already using a market order. A market order is the most expensive order that you can use. So
okay.
if
Yeah.
you're wanting to, as a trader, we're talking about one contract here. What happens if this was 10 contracts? You're going to be concerned about how much you're paying for these contracts, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when we think
Absolutely.
about that, we go, oh, you know what? Let the volatility settle down, then just get me into a long call. And what you could do then is change this. You can see that it says 9:46 here. You could change this time for like 10 or 15 minutes after the market open. And so what'll happen is while you're sleeping, this is going to put in a market order to buy that call right at that specific time and date. You
Okay.
don't, so then you don't have a breach of any type of threshold price here. Does that make more sense?
Okay. That makes sense. I didn't act for the price rules. That was a limit. Just kind of in hindsight, thinking about that. That was where it says price rules. You have
Yes.
market. I
Yeah,
did have that set as a limit, and then
right here.
yeah, all that was the same. Yeah.
Right, you put in
I
the
looked.
price here, and then this was
Mhm.
by the ask, 0, 0.
Yep.
Yeah, the problem is because it's a limit order, price has to travel through it. And because it
Okay.
hopped over it, it didn't trigger.
Wow. So what do I do to what is it do I do to keep that from happening next time?
Well, if you have that strong of a conviction and you want to enter, just go ahead and put market, You're going to put, I think you can only, on a market, you can only do day. So you're going to put market
Right.
day. You're going to put in the calendar day for the next morning as an example. Let's just go ahead and do that. What is that, 11? And then here, you're going to make sure, depending on your computer, if it's set to Pacific Standard, Central, or Eastern, you're going to want to
Yeah.
make sure that this
Pacific.
lines up. So the market opens for me, as an example, at 6:30 in the morning. I don't think
Same
that
here.
my simulation is proper here, but I'm going to put in 06:45:00, and then let me just see what this says. So that says 3:45 in the morning. So this is set incorrectly. So if I put 9:45, there you go. That's my 6:45. So now this is set for Eastern Standard Time, and you can see that my computer is set for my time, which is Pacific.
Yeah,
Right?
Pacific.
Okay, I just want to make sure I don't confuse anybody. Don't stress out. So here I'm saying open this order tomorrow at 9:45 Eastern Standard Time. I have a market order, and what that's going to do is just get me a market order for the strike price, right?
Mm-hmm.
The strike, the 145 call, and they're just going to buy you a call during that time. Now, your orders, okay, this is done. Do you have any questions about how to do this? And this,
No.
there's nothing here. There's nothing here. Buy, market, day, your date and time. That's it. This is saved. Okay.
Okay.
Let me
Yep.
go back. Now we're saved. So now, tomorrow morning, it's going to open up BABA for me. Now I need to go ahead and program my take profit and my stop loss,
Okay.
like you would for any other, ticker. So does that make sense? You think you got a handle on that?
That I do have it. I think I do have a better handle on how to do that. So basically, if it gaps up like that, chances are more likely if I set it, it's not going to necessarily trigger.
Right.
If I have if I set it with such a small limit order, like
Yes.
because mine was like by
Yeah,
cents.
and that's a great point you bring up that I want to clarify for you as a tip. You know, guys, when you're putting in an entry and it's overnight and you're saying, oh, I'm going to put my entry in for BABA at 143.50 as an example, that's 5 cents away. I mean, we get a lot of movement in the middle of the night. So at the open, that could be way above, that could be way below. And so the only reason we don't teach this, right, is because typically speaking, we do want price to go through. So I want you to start practicing with this and do your market orders, because I know what you're thinking. I want to get in right away. But actually, oftentimes like a stock will gap and then it'll come down. So you got in right when the market opened to do what? To make a U-turn and go down and hit your stop loss. But the only way that you're going to experience that is for you to actually program it, and then you witness what happens to your trades. So I want you to do this all on simulation before that turns real. I don't want you to lose money until you get proficient at how you analyze what your programming is. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense.
Hey traders, if you're finding this helpful, go ahead and tap that like and subscribe. We drop fresh trading setups and automation tips every day. And trust me, what's coming up next could level up your game. The links to learn more about us and our system is in the description below.
I have one last question, and it has to do with the chart. It has to do with the chart itself. Okay. Now, you see I forget the resistance and the what do you call it? Yeah, the resistance and the support lines.
Yes.
Now that's based on a week, right?
Yes.
A week. Okay. Now when you're trying to figure out a particular price, a profit target, are we looking at the profit target that's for that week, or are we looking at profit targets, in other weeks as
No,
well?
the way we train in the system is that we're looking for weekly income. So we're doing our trades weekly. So like you picked an October 17th, right? You picked way into the future. You could still do that just because you want the time value on it and still be able to use this indicator to show you what the weekly profit targets are.
Right on. Okay. All right. So I can still do what I just did, right?
Absolutely.
set it for the future, but use these weekly profit targets to set my profit for that week.
That's correct. These are weekly profit targets that you're looking at. And you can change
Okay.
these to monthly, but remember the time period that you change it for, you just have to be prepared. You know, if it keeps going up and up and up, you can use a trail stop as an example so that you don't lose your profits. Because look at today, right? Right? So, you know, BABA went down today by $3. So if you were up yesterday as an example, and by the way, guys, look at where we got to. Let's see that the high yesterday was 148. That little line is 148.33. This is why I tell you, when you pad your automations, try to be the first one out of the trade. So in this case, you know, looking at this at 148.33, just take the profit target at 148, because look at what happened. It almost got to the 148.33, but didn't. And it did a U-turn. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
So this is why we pad our automations. You pad it on the way down as well as on the way up. For you to think about, like, I just want to be the first person to get out of this trade if I have profit, is a good way to look at it. So when you're looking at price and you're looking at resistance, you can say, oh, instead of me programming this at 148.33, because that's exactly where the line is at, I want to be the first one out, so I'm getting out at 148. So here's 148, here's 148.33. You're getting out right here as an example, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
very good, because
So
oftentimes price will touch and then do what?
and then move down.
Yeah. So
Right.
I want you to take your profit off the table. So
So
always pad. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
so no, it's okay. So really quick, I was going to say that if you're looking, all these are different price targets, right? For that week. What about the lines to the right? Okay, you have the purple line. I forget what you call the purple line again.
Point of
Um,
control. Point.
Point of control. Okay, point of control. All right.
Mhm.
So let's say for this week, I'm looking at the point of control, and I want to go ahead and do a profit target. Let's say at that first green line to the right, the green
Okay.
line to the
So,
right. Can I
so
do?
let's stop right here. Let's stop
Yeah.
right here. So this right here is the indicator, and
Mm-hmm.
it's calculating, you know, based on previous days. But we don't
Okay.
use this until Sunday. So at
Ah.
Friday, after the close, it now has calculated Monday through Friday's support and resistance levels, so that going forward, right? Going forward, then
Mm-hmm.
we know this week what support and resistance levels are. I just have this up because, well, this is the way my chart is set up with a little bit of room. So on Saturday or Sunday, you can actually see this. A lot of people say, oh, I can't see this. And because my chart doesn't show this line, it only shows this line. And that
Right.
is an adjustment that you have to make on your chart. You go to chart settings really quick. Let me just show you for those of you guys that are new and you have this same issue. And then you go to, let's see, is it price action? Time access. Go to time access and then go 10 bars to the right. See this? If I go zero,
Ah.
let me show you how this looks if I go zero so that this makes
Okay.
more sense with context. If I go zero, I'm all the way to the
Uh-huh.
right now. You see how I
Yep.
can't see? So come Saturday, it's going to be the same way. I can't see next week's targets.
I see. Okay.
Got
So
it?
the only yeah, got it. So the
Okay.
only thing that we're really concerned about, right, is just this week's targets. We're not concerning ourselves with what's happening, what could happen or not for the week after. We're just concerned about what's happening for this week only.
That's correct. That's how I did this
Got it.
system for people. You are an independent trader. We have people, you know, with zero experience all the way to extremely experienced traders. You know, I'm showing you the proficiency in automation with this system, and then you can adjust it as you see fit. We're all independent traders, right? You get to do whatever you
Hmm.
want to. But you can definitely use this as your base foundation, and then you can start to practice and analyze, how you want to do that. Can I change this indicator to show me what next month's support and resistance levels are? The answer is yes. So you know how you took your October contract?
Mm-hmm.
Could I look out a couple months in advance and see?
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing you could do is just look at BABA as an example and go right over here. Go right over here on BABA on the trade tab for October. And you see how it says plus or minus $16.37?
Mm-hmm.
That's the expected move that the market makers have for BABA. But remember, it's plus or minus $16. Do you understand why now I put a call and a put so that it doesn't matter which way it's going, so that I can prepare for the minus, the plus as well as the minus, right? But you could go and see what your expected move is for that time period.
You just have to have some money, set if you're going to do plus or if you're going to do a call and a put at that for that. Yeah.
No doubt, right? Because you can see how expensive one call for a BABA is $715 and it's $510 for a put. So that's a great analogy for, time value. There's value. It's called intrinsic value.
Yes.
That's right. Very good. There's so much to learn, but with this system, if you're a beginner, you're going to be able to start automating your trades within a couple weeks, and you know nothing about trading, and you're going to be able to become a trader just by the act of doing and then analyzing. We give you a trade plan as well as the Excel spreadsheet so that you can log your trades. You can make analysis, see what worked, see what didn't. You start to investigate, why something triggered, why something didn't trigger. It was the gap for you, as an example. Now you know about gaps. And then you just keep going like this, and you just become a better automator. Great question.
Thank you. And the last one, before I run off here and let you go to the others, is that this is the only time we'll be able to ask questions to you about certain things in terms of trades, right? On Wednesdays, we won't be able to email you or anything like that.
Yeah, you can email. Absolutely. You can email support. You can email either or. If you're with let's just make it easy. You can email Sandra at tradingmadesimple.org. And I'll get back to you. But really, this is primary because I just don't have the time when, thousands and thousands of people are purchasing this item to sit in front of my computer and answer questions all day on email. I have a VIP community where I am hands-on, not only with our coaches, but our VIP members. And so that's my primary position. For autopilot, you get me on Wednesdays. You could create a little question like you did. You had great questions back to back to back to back. Guys out there, if you're just coming to watch videos and you're not doing the practical application, like Chris, I want you to do the practical application. Come to me on Wednesdays with a list of questions so we can go through it. Believe me, it will help others. That problem that Chris is talking about will happen to you, no doubt in my mind. So you learning about all of this is great, but I want you to do the practical app. Chris, I hope that helped.
It certainly did. Thank you so much.